What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. And today, I want to discuss a pretty serious topic, which is the trans gun ban. So obviously, guns are kind of what this channel is about: guns, gear, survival, all of that. And usually, I try to not be as into the politics as I am into the guns itself. But I figured I might as well bring this up. And this has been an oncoming thing for a while. It really started to pick up after the Minneapolis shooter, which was a shooting that came pretty close to home, quite literally, too, for me. And that's the idea that Trump administration has put out there, that they want to ban guns for trans people, or people who have been diagnosed with gender dysphoria, which is a real thing. And I want to be completely transparent on my opinion on trans people, which is I do not support it, I do not condone it, and I wouldn't say I'm a fan of it. Obviously, my faith in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and all of that plays into that. But I think it's completely immature of anybody who disagrees with that to say that they can take the rights to own guns away from those people. Because banning guns for people you don't like is a very slippery slope, which will come back and get you. Because they're just going to keep banning them and banning them and banning them, and no one is going to be free. This is kind of the first stepping stone, and we kind of have to decide where we want to go on this. And I think it is absolutely abhorrent that it's even brought up that you can take a specific group of people, regardless of how you feel about them, and you can ban their weapons. And that's the, per capita, oh yeah, the trans people are all violent, which you can believe whatever you want to on that. I mean, I'm not here to make opinions for you. I've known trans people that were relatively chill. I've known trans people that were not relatively chill. I've known normal people that were relatively chill. I've known normal people who weren't. So yeah, regardless of your opinion on that topic, you just can't take away the right to bear arms from any group of people, especially any specific group of people, especially one that you and the general public does not agree with, because that's when bad things happen. We've seen that happen dozens of times throughout history, and it always leads to something horrible at the end. And I think that is a road that we cannot start going down, again, regardless of opinion. And I know a lot of, obviously in left-wing circles, they are very opposed to it, which, no surprise there. And I've noticed a lot in right-wing circles, they're also opposed to it, which I think is good. I think that's the logical and mature thing to do. And really, why is that? Well, because it gets into a bigger role of, the right to bear arms, which is if you, as a government figure, because remember, they are still humans, despite what they want to tell us at the end of the day, they are still just like you and me. They are not any, godlike celestial beings. You, as a person, cannot tell another person that you have an inherent right over them to have a tool and methods to kill that person, to end that person's life, and that person will never have that tool or that right to have that tool or anything like that to take your life. That gives you the inherent power over their life, and no human being should have that. And that goes especially for governments. They should not have that right, which is why all people, regardless of your opinions, regardless of your stance, should have the right to bear arms. I think it is awful that it is even brought up as a notion that we are going to be taking these people's right to bear arms. Obviously, if you are a responsible firearms owner, you will be a responsible firearms owner. If you are not, you are not. Taking away the tool doesn't address what a person is on the inside. And I really just want to kind of peel back the layers on that and just say, it's not okay that we can bring this up. I think it just kind of needs to stop here, We can set our differences aside, because there are differences. It's kind of something that's come up a lot after the Charlie Kirk shooting, that we don't really need to be so divided. We really don't. If we have a cause that we have common ground on, we can unify and we can rally, and I believe in that. I believe that we are stronger that way. I believe that good things come that way, It's like what Abraham Lincoln said, a house divided against itself cannot stand, or whatever that quote was. You know what I'm talking about. So, that was just kind of my opinion. I guess if you're watching this, let me know if you agree or not. Bring up any points you think I might have missed. Any of your opinions on it. But, I just want to throw that out there. I do believe in absolute freedom for everyone. So, again, thanks for watching so much. I'll probably see you in the next one.